Here comes the Sierra Railway train pulling into the station at Jamestown, California, inside the Railtown 1897 State Historic Park. There he goes, pulling it in. Now they're going to separate the engine from the passenger cars and take the engine on a siding and drive past the train and reconnect at the other end. They'll be doing that in just a minute as soon as they actually stop the train. Right now they're uncoupling the locomotive from the passenger car. And they're going to take the locomotive around on a siding and reconnect at the other end of the train in just a couple minutes. Now that the train stopped, it's safe to disembark the passengers. The fellow there in his short sleeve shirt, he's a park ranger. And that gentleman there, the conductor, he's a senior citizen volunteer. Many of the people that work here on the train are volunteers. It just helps to make it a nice experience. Now we're going to walk down to the other end of the train and watch them reconnect the engine to the passenger car. Now watch the conductor. He's going to recouple the engine to the passenger car. Now he's going to hook up the hoses there. People are just milling around and getting situated on the train, finding their seats, I should say. I got my ticket.
So the train whistle that you're hearing is a safety requirement for the railroad. Anytime a train crosses a road, they have to give a warning signal.
The conductor is the same gentleman that connected the engine to the passenger car.
You're legit? Yeah, you're legit.
So we're passing the water tank again. This was one of 6 water tanks on this railroad, between 1 of 6. This is the only one that survived. All the others have fallen apart.
That water tank was used on the TV show Petticoat Junction in the 1960s.
So up here on the left, as we're moving forward, one of our neighbors has built out his backyard fence to look like an old Wild West town. Isn't that fun? Yeah. That's all pretend. People, they wish they were on the train with you. There you go. Okay, so on the right hand side you can see this is an equestrian center. This is called Horses for Warriors. This is designed to support servicemen and first responders that are suffering from PTSD. So this is a therapy place. They learn all about horses, they learn how to take care of horses, and they learn how to ride horses. All the animals, all the horses. Okay. So before there was a train, so back in 1896, before there was a train, if you wanted to go from Sonora to Oakdale, 41 miles, you would ride a stagecoach. How long do you think it took? Less than 2 days. Well, 1 day, 8 hours, so about 5 miles an hour. Now, with the introduction of the train, it reduced that time to 2 hours. And that was because it had to stop at a number of different towns on the way. And today you can drive there in about a half hour. Uh-oh, there's a deer over there. You see him? All the trees are in the way. Can't see him now. So on the left-hand side, you can see there's a kind of a dry creek bed that runs parallel to the railroad tracks. Back in 1849 and 1850, this was a very active placer mining area. And the miners would get the gravel and other things in their pan, they take the gold out, they throw the tailings off to the side. So every now and then you see little mounds where they have their favorite spots. Now you can see that oak tree right there, and you can see that there's a number of benches next to the oak tree. About 4 years ago, there was a couple that wanted to get married outside, and they asked that we position the train back here, so when they took their wedding pictures, the train was in their pictures. It reminds me that there were over 200 different movies, television television programs and commercials filmed on this railroad. Some of the movies included High Noon, and The Apple Dumpling Gang, and My Little Chickadee, and Back to the Future 3. And I've got a long list of the top 10 television programs. Let's see if you can recognize any of these, okay? The Lone Ranger, Rawhide, Lassie, Death Valley Days, Petticoat Junction, The Big Valley, Wild Wild West, Bonanza, Gunsmoke, and Little House on the Prairie. Okay, up here on the left-hand side as we're moving forward, you're going to see a little bit of a wash. In 1940, they made a movie here called The Young Tom Edison. And in that movie, they made the dry creek bed that you'll see up here look like a raging river. And that raging river came down and washed out the railroad tracks in the movie. So it was all pretend. Anyway, the star of the movie, Mickey Rooney, found out about the impending doom, and he sent a message to the people on the train, and they saved the day. Past those large dead trees, you can see a little bit of a carve out into the hillside. This is where the first film was made on this railroad. Back in 1919, The Red Glove, it's a Western movie, was filmed here. Now it was a silent movie, and it was a Western, and it was a damsel in distress. So a couple of cowboys came and saved the damsel that was in trouble. And no, she wasn't tied to the railroad tracks. That would have made it more interesting, but no. So 1919. So there are a number of different ethnic groups that helped build the railroad in the United States. Which ethnic group do you think helped build this railroad? Not the Chinese. Not the Irish, the Italians. So the Italians helped build this railroad. The Japanese helped build the short line railroad that was envisioned for Yosemite. Now, it only was built up to 15 miles, and then they stopped because it was 1905. And in 1906, we had an earthquake in San Francisco, so all the money went to San Francisco. Okay, at this point we're crossing the Mother Lode. Now the Mother Lode is the principal ore or vein of gold in this area. It runs about 140 miles from Oakhurst in the south to Nevada City in the north. We've got some horses over there on the right hand side. And you can see that mountain up there. It's flat on top. That's called Tabletop Mountain. Tabletop Mountain. And the way it came to be was that 9 million years ago there was an earthquake. The lava flowed out of that earthquake and created a river of lava. Over the years that lava cooled and it hardened, made a hard surface. And over the thousands of years, everything around it eroded. But that has stayed the same. So back here on the right hand side you can see that yellow caboose. Now the guy that lives at the house back there loves trains. He bought that caboose from the Sierra Railroad and he fixed it up. That's where his teenage son lived during the summer months. Now his son has grown up and he's moved out. So dad moved his train sets into that caboose. So it's still being used today. This is Serpentine Rock. This is the rock of California. You can find it in about 90% of the communities around California. And you can see the rock goes well above the top of the train. This is where the bad guys used to climb on the rock, jump on top of the train, and rob the train. Only in the movies. So in the movies, as we're moving forward. You can see that there is a creek down there. This is known as, well, there's a little tea party going up here on this cow collaboration. Anyway, that creek is remarkable for a couple of reasons. First of all, the creek is named after a guy named Ben Woods. Now, Ben Woods was a prospector who came down from Oregon, and he panned for gold down here. He established Woods Camp, and it was Woods Camp until he found gold. And when he found gold, then they named the creek after him, so it's Woods Creek. Now, the other thing about this creek is there was more gold taken out of this creek than any other creek of its size in all of California during the gold rush. For a time, miners were able to take between $200 and $300 worth of gold per miner per day out of that creek. Also, Ben Woods found gold there for the first time in the Tuolumne County area, and that was in August of 1848. Now, in January of 1848 was where they found gold in Sutter's Creek. So this was after that. So how long do you think the gold rush lasted? 1849 until 1855. So it wasn't that long. Although people continued to come here and look for gold, there wasn't the crush of people. Back during the gold rush, it was said that there was over 300,000 people in this creek and in the foothills looking for gold. And for perspective, the three big communities, Columbia, Sonora, and Jamestown, have a total combined population of less than 10,000 people. So 300,000 people, that's a whole lot of people. So up here in a little bit, we're going to cross what used to be the tallest wooden trestle on this railroad. When we had a wooden trestle, it was 55 feet from the tracks down to the creek. In the 1920s, instead of repairing the tired wood from the trestle, they just threw rock and gravel in there and secured it, made it safer. Okay, on the left-hand side as we're moving forward, you're going to start to see a privately owned rock quarry. It's called Hatlers Rock Quarry. This is about 35 acres. It generates about 60 tons worth of gravel, and that gravel is used for under the railroad tracks and under the roads. You're going to also see a lot of stuff on the side of the hill. You and I might consider it junk, but Mr. Hatler considers it his inventory. When things break, he comes up here and he finds parts. So up here in a little bit, we're going to stop the train. When we stop the train, we're going to do a runaround. Now, a runaround is where all the dads get off the train and run around the train and then come back on. Maybe not. Not in this heat. So I'll describe a runaround right after we hear what the brakeman is going to do with the handbrake. That's right. Yeah. Okay, so the sound that you heard was either the biggest cricket you've ever seen, or it's our handbrake. Now, the reason that we're setting the handbrake is because in the runaround, what they're going to do is they're going to uncouple the locomotive and back it up. You see the fire patrol car is going to come around and it's going to get behind the train. Then the locomotive is going to come by on this side track and it's going to come to the back of the train. It's going to couple up and it's going to pull us back to Jamestown. So the handbrake keeps us from rolling down the hill. That's a good thing. And anybody that wants to watch the locomotive couple up, you guys are welcome to go to the back of the train. By the way, there are rules for the back of the train. Little kids up front. All you tall people in the back.
Hold on.
Wait.
Let me go here.
So that would mean that it would be smart to hold on to something or someone, preferably someone you know, so that we get knocked over one another.
See his hands? No, they're bringing some oil.
Can we stay over here?
Yes, stay right where you are. Everybody's perfect where you are. It'll come and gently connect, okay?
Up there's a little of a bump.
A little bump, yes.
I see them wearing something. Is it gonna fall? I hope it won't. A little bit. Raise your feet, Willow.
Perfect. Are you ready?
Ready? Now hold on.
Wow, that was good. Hooray. Thanks, kids. What do you think? Is everybody good?
Oh yeah, I see the earmuffs things.
Yeah, the earplugs. Hearing
No
protection.
wonder.
Hearing protection is wow. They're required to wear them. Everybody good?
Yes.
All
They
right.
cut my hair.
No. Well, thank you guys. That's about it.
I want to stay over here. Me
Yeah, I'm good. Let's go in a little bit. You can go that way if you want. You can let our crew back on. He's on that side, okay?
Very far back?
Not you.
Not really? Well, I'll tell you what, when we come up to the next crossing, I'll come up and wave that to you, you'll know, all right? All right?
We're actually
We're not gonna see too much, that's all you get.
There's lots of kids on the train ride, and they seem to be really enjoying it. It's a great thing for families. Please note that when you look inside the locomotive, there's some red fuzzy dice hanging from the ceiling. The park ranger here is really patient with those kids and working with them so that they enjoy the train ride.
This is the
Here's a better look inside the locomotive. And you can still see the fuzzy dice hanging from the ceiling. There's a look at what the tracks look like underneath. Get a better idea of what the engineer sees.
there's a couple of things I need to ask of you. The first is, please stay in your seat until the conductor says it's time to get up. And the second, even more important, is your personal safety. I need all of you to look over at the deck, smile, and pretend like you had a good time.
Well, I wanted to thank you for watching all the way to the end of the video, and thank you. I hope that you enjoyed the train ride. And if you ever get a chance to visit Railtown 1897 in Jamestown, California, I would certainly encourage you to do that. Anyway, thanks again and have a great day. Thank you.